over modes here. Oh god, that was very awkward. My bad, team. Hi, guys. Worst switch over intro thing ever, but if we're gonna do it Laurelania style, and that's completely broken. So I'm gonna pass it over to Josh, so hopefully you can hear the things that he has to say. This is my first time running it out of my stream in my new setup, so if anybody is loud or quiet or whatever, just let me know so I can adjust their volume.
Indeed. Okay, so welcome, guys, to another episode of Long March. I'm not Encounter Will. I'm Josh. Will is dead. Will died. Everyone just spam some rest in pepperonio in chat for our good friend Will, because he's kaput. But welcome back to Long March, where last episode we had some interesting stuff going on. The guys have finally made it to corrupt, horrible, infected, pustulous city of many wonderful delights, and they decided to go straight to the brothel, because in a city of infection and fungus, the first place you want to go to is the brothel, obviously. You know, a party of real smart adventurers we have. Speaking of really smart adventurers, let's go around, meet some of the cast and crew. So first up, making well, I think I could be wrong here, but I think she's already had quite a day. I want to pass it over to my good friend Louise over Accidental Legend. How was your stream? Your inaugural coming back stream?
Oh my god, it was amazing. It felt like coming home for the second time, because I've already come home recently to my actual home, and then I got to come home again, and I was really excited, and everyone was really nice, and it was really good to come back. And I'm back for real now, so tomorrow I'll be back there as well. Things are back on track. I'm alive again. Things are great.
Speaking of being back, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you'll be back playing today?
Well, I'm back playing Kasna, who, unlike her sister, is alive, and well, for now, and she is a Eldritch Knight fighter. She's having a good time. She's in love with a dwarf. She's got a son that's been kidnapped and is being tortured and is now a teenager. She's got a brain in her bag who is growing something inside of him, and she doesn't have much time left with the vial situation. So things aren't great in her world. But, you know,
if I could describe this as anything, it is a vile situation.
It's a vile situation.
Perfect description right there.
But, you know, she's keeping on, and hopefully we'll stay alive today. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you've had a lot of, ups today. I feel like it's time to bring you back down to earth. Speaking of being down to earth and really having your head in the game, Tall Squall, Buddy, old pal, the simple characters, the people who really, bring everyone together, to ground everyone, the anchor piece of the campaign. Talk to us a little bit about Gavin. Or whoever.
Well, Gavin right now, please leave a message for Gavin. He is not available to come to the phone right now. He is currently being driven by, the guy, this whole Long March thing. The whole thing that started it all was this giant 5-year war led by this tiefling, 10-year war that destroyed basically the entire civilization of Eider. Led the fiend-touched tieflings to pretty much destroy not just the people, but the land itself. Because, when they die, they don't just die, they leave behind plague. The guy who did that, the guy who masterminded that whole thing, currently is driving our good buddy Gavin. He's known as Hex. He is a offspring of, bad and worse. And currently he has Gavin trapped in his own mind, and is a shadow sorcerer. And when shadow sorcerer isn't enough, he basically goes and good old Gavin a poke or two, get him all pissed off and ragey, and has the other side of his barbarian for, all those damage mitigations and all the things that normally would make a sorcerer vulnerable. So he's kind of, not a lot of fun. Oh, and by the way, he killed Kazna's sister, Zoo.
Yeah, that's a little thing. That's a little
insignificant
fact about
the world. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. And speaking of people who aren't a big deal and people who aren't hung up on Zune's death, Laurelania, how you doing?
I'm great. I am so great. I am sorry for all of the things that break during production today, and it still blows my mind how much Will works on all of his shows. Having to be in the driver's seat, it makes me envious. So thank you, Will, for all of the production that you do for all of your different shows and the Long March. I am playing a tiefling bard named Pain. She is a little melodramatic at times, but she has a really good heart. And I'm excited to be back with all of my books and everything.
Someone who knows all about pain. That's good. That's good. That's what we're looking forward to for this. And speaking of pain, you guys had some interesting stuff happen to you last episode. You managed to get into the city called the Shard. The Shard is sort of an offshoot of the other side of the Underdark. There was a huge separation many years ago, and you guys are in the sort of forgotten section, the forbidden section, the cast off section, and their capital is known as the Shard. It is protected by a huge stone bubble that is like a defensive wall that encapsulates the entire city, sort of all around it. And inside you found that there is a huge plant-like growth in the center, which seems to be causing the wildlife around it to grow at an extreme rate. The buildings are rotting, there's damp everywhere, and that's great. But you seem to have found the local tour guide sort of community. The guys are going to show you around because you've just come out of the brothel after having a sleep. You found out that you really shouldn't be breathing the air or eating food or doing anything here. And it's just going to be super great because what could possibly go wrong? And even better than that, I'm playing Gregor Tuscan tonight, so super excited for this.
Are you
it's
actually?
Gonna be fun.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I need to, and I have not practiced his accent. So, hey, this is gonna be good. Hey. Oh yeah, you were muted, Will School. Unfortunately,
Out the nose. I saw it. Out the nose.
Gregor Tuscan, which is of course Will's character. Will can't be with us here tonight, unfortunately. So in Will's place, I better go ahead and tell you guys about all the ways you can get involved in the show. You guys can donate to give Nat 1s, Nat 20s, Wild Magic Surges, which is all in the donation table you can find just below the stream, hopefully. Loads of crazy stuff going on there. There is also the wonderful D&Dice, who we are sponsored by, have got some fantastic deals. If you want to see some sexy D&Dice,
Quick note on that, actually, because my Streamlabels is not loading any followers or donations, so there is a mod that is going to be here the entire time, is paying attention to chat. If I miss any donations, please just at me.
Spam chat. Spam chat.
Please do not make up donations. Only real ones. I'm only gonna trust mods.
I donated £100 to give Kasna everything. Just
everything.
I gave her everything, all the good things, and I gave all the bad things to Gavin.
Exactly.
Aww, Gavin.
What's to Hex? I gave Gavin like a thumbs up. I gave Hex some bad things.
Just good job, buddy.
Keep going, man. You'll get out of there.
You'll be fine. Nothing bad could ever happen. So so we're going to jump forward. But yeah, if you haven't check out online D&Dice, the sexy. Oh, I missed the camera entirely there. Like there you go. Wonderful. But yeah, we'll right. We're gonna crack straight on because as I promised to Louise when she was like, "I'm gonna do a big stream," and I'm gonna be like, "Get ready to roll initiative straight away." Guess what I want you guys to do? Roll me some initiative, please, guys. As we find ourselves in a courtyard. This courtyard, to remind everyone, is just outside the brothel. It's like one of those huge sort of places for the. There's a huge water feature just outside, which had a statue of maybe an angel or a deity or someone important in the town that is kind of crumbled beyond recognition and is incredibly sort of badly held together. There is the glory that is sort of like the city laid out in front of you. It's all lit by this huge golden bulb that is on top of the main city spire, which seems to be some kind of like plant bulb that is pulsing with a gentle light. And yeah, it's all pleasant. And you have a couple of guys here who have come to introduce themselves to you. And before I'm even going to go into too much detail in describing them, they're going to come say hello. So these guys are vaguely humanoid, but slightly misshapen, and they're going to get over. So what have we got rolls-wise, just while I load all this?
14 for Hex.
11 for Kazna.
Love it. Love it. Strong
a
rolls.
crit, 24 for me to go.
Hey,
Lorelania got a nat 20
Nat
with
20.
24.
oh, I like this less. Okay. So on a nat 20, I'm gonna say that Payne has like a proper moment to sort of take it all in, and I will give you a little bit more of a description. You see in front of you that this entourage that has come for you are made up of a couple of individuals. There's 4 of them. They have pulled themselves. That you can see that they are dripping with sort of like a thick green algae kind of moss, and they're literally like it's just pouring off them. They look like they were humanoid. Sorry, they look like they were. 3 of them were drow, and 1 of them was actually human, surprisingly. And they all have strange, misshapen bodies. Parts of their bodies look like they have almost like saw blades pushing out from them. These huge circular or semicircular crests that sort of push out from underneath the skin. They have sort of ridges that run across their arms, which look like pustules or boils or something like that. None of them have particularly pretty faces. All of them seem to have opened up, and one of them, one of the lead drow, just has his jaw is like cracked open. He's like seems to be hanging unnaturally low, and from inside his mouth there is something huge and ridged growing out, like this huge, like a huge cap of a mushroom, just growing straight out of his mouth, which seems to quiver. And he is the first one who sort of, his head jerks unnaturally quickly towards you. You hear the crunch of bone and that slight soft sound of like the squelch of all of their clothing, which is damp moving. And he looks at you, and he's going to roll some initiative to see how fast these guys did. These guys don't actually have the best initiative, I'll be completely honest. Yeah, on a 6. So let me get that up in the initiative order. But first up, I need to roll for Gregor Tuskin E. Please tell me he's got his character sheet in here. What's the betting? He doesn't have his character sheet in here. Do I get to make up everything? I feel like I get to make up everything. There he is.
I think he has one, but I don't know how updated it is.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Gregor Tuskin E. Oh, he's got... I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna go with it though.
What are his NPC movements? I mean,
NPC movements.
we had the sweeping for Gavin. Kazuma just kind of like swing that stuff.
Yeah. His NPC movement. So his NPC movement is Gregor comes outside and he's decided against everyone's better judgment. He's brought something out from behind the bar. This bar that's everything here is infected and possibly dangerous and contaminated. Gregor comes out swigging a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. It's particularly nice. There we go. And he sees all this going down, and it enamors him ever so slightly. Payne is going first. Surprise, he's going there. So Payne, being up first on a fancy pants nat 20, what would you like to do, being presented with all of this in front of your face?
Definitely would help if I unmute myself. I am
That would
going
help.
to throw a chromatic orb at the first one I see. I'm awake. Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay, let's see that roll. Where are we? There we go. Chromatic orb. Okay, fantastic. Is it a dex save? I believe it's a dex save, isn't it?
I believe it
No, you
is-
make a ranged spell attack.
Uh,
You need to make a ranged spell attack.
with my... Sorry about my...
Have you got that set up at all, or
No, I do not at all.
what's your modifier?
I have no... 10. Okay, d20 plus 10.
Tier?
Yeah,
You
there we
You
go.
dead?
Yes, no, sorry. My alarm is going off right now, and I'm trying to run a show. That's not mine. And there are things that are mushrooms that are flying at me, and it's just
good.
like every girl's worst nightmare. Okay, so I'm just
I
going
can
to.
confirm.
It's
Every
great.
girl's worst
Good.
nightmare.
First thing you want to do on a show that is not your own when you're trying to host and run is just mushrooms. Lots of mushrooms. You kind of roleplay in no way endorses this behavior whatsoever. So a 29. Yeah, 29 hits. Ever so slightly.
At a cold ball, and it's 3d8 plus 1d8 for each level above 4, so 78 slash roll 7d8. I'm not gonna go and turn that off. I will be right back.
Okay. So while she vanishes for a second, I'm gonna let you know that this thing doesn't die, but we're gonna pretend when she comes back that it's totally dead and she's done a good job. Yeah. So I think that's everything for her turn, unless she has any bonus actions. So this thing gets hit in the chest, and just freezing ice just chills all of the clothes. Like you see it almost like flash freeze their clothing into like a brittle kind of nature. It just happens so fast. And as his arms come up sort of defensively, bringing them up just too late, you see like the clothing split and tear and break apart. And underneath, his flesh looks horribly shriveled. Like someone who's been in a bath for a very, 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 very long time. Like that horrible, and in places it just seems to like rip and tear. It's too thin. He looks like he's been like he's been like all his skin's been taken off and rolling pin too thin. That's a thing. That's a good description right there. These guys are very badly put together. There's something very, very wrong with them. And he takes this straight in the chest and staggers backwards, hitting the water feature that is just behind him. And as he hits the water feature, it is... Whose turn is it?
Before I end my turn, have you got a plan? I say as I kind of fly up 30 feet in the air and just kind of looking over my shoulders at my companions.
Gregor goes, "Oh, yeah, plan.
Kill them. There's the plan.
Hey."
No, look at Gregor. There's something wrong. Gregor, something wrong. You sound... Something seems off.
Sounds more attractive than usual, eh?
Absolutely not. Actually, I'm having second thoughts about everything.
That was
Anyway,
the plan. This is my plan to break up Gregor and Kazna. I will be Gregor. So, let me get that in order. So next up is actually Hex, as these things are standing there in front of you, buddy.
Yeah, Hex is going to see these things, see the ice hit it, and going to do a little fire ice thing. So he he's going to
wombo combo.
Yep, he actually is going to summon the mace, the Hex Head mace, that we know has some spell casting abilities, and he's going to use its fire ray ability.
Okay, hit me with that.
It does a 17 hit.
A 17, my friend, does indeed hit.
Actually, are they within 30 feet?
Yes, all of them are.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the one that's got ice, and we're gonna see if we can do that sort of hit it with fire, hit it with ice, then hit it with fire. Maybe this thing will shatter.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see that damage.
10 damage.
10 damage. 10 damage, 30 damage. I believe. Let me just check. Where are you?
I think I got that set up right. I thought that I got.
There it is. That's what I'm looking for. So sorry, it was a total of
Between the two attacks, it's 40 hit points
40
worth of damage between the two.
That is enough to kill it. Only just. But this thing staggers backwards. And yeah, like as you said, the wombo combo comes in, you know, it freezes up for a second. You see like a huge shard of ice seem to sort of tear open its chest, and as it teeters on the edge of this ball, the fire ray just comes in and punches straight through, sort of gutting it, and its head just rolls back unnaturally, almost as if there's no bone left in his neck, and just lolls backwards, and the weight of it just tips him over the edge, and he sinks into the pool behind him. Is there anything else on your turn that you would like to do?
Yeah, as a bonus action, I am going to go ahead and cast my it looks like a large pinion feather of a raven, and he's been masquerading it as a raven blade, a gift of the Raven Queen to Gavin, but it actually is Shadow Blade at 3rd level. So he's going to go ahead and cast it and have it ready, so it will be up for the next round.
Okay, no problem. So, yeah, this horrible sort of ripple goes through Gavin's arm and, or through the space where
his stump is replaced with this long, sort of elongated raven wing with this long pinion feather at the end of it that is in the shape of a blade.
And as that happens, it's just in time for, speaking of wombo combos, it is my dear friend Kazna and her suddenly much more attractive husband.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Okay, wonderful.
I'd like to just take my sword and go stab some asshole mushroom people. That's what I'd like to do.
I understand that entirely. Okay, so they are sort of all about 20 feet away. They haven't had a chance to sort of rush forward yet, and they are sort of standing. You've got the 2 drow and a human left. So what are you going for?
I'd like to go for one of the drows. Yeah,
okay.
It's been a hard time being a drow lately, and I just want someone to take it out on.
Okay, no problem at all.
It's just one of those days.
Head up, make me some attacks.
That's only a 12.
That's a 12. Okay, a 12 is not quite enough.
But I'm gonna go again because I can.
Because you
will.
You will.
For 13.
13. We're going up in increments of 1 here. 13 is not quite enough. You manage to strike into this creature, but he pulls his arm up, and as he does, you watch in horror as like the skin along the side of his arm splits, and just as you bring your blade in, something sharp and chitinous seems to just fan out, almost like the crest, like the quills on a creature, like a lizard's sort of crest, just fans up across his arm, and he holds it in place as a shield, and you cut into it, and you definitely you pull your blade through it and it slices, but you don't actually manage to sort of cut through to anything vital. It's unfortunate. It's something we all must deal with, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'll pull back. I'll drop back to the rest of the group.
Okay, you take a few steps back again, just as passing you just hear, "Let me show you how it's done," and he comes rushing forward in through Gregor Tuscan.
Here he comes.
Here he comes, whether you're ready or not. He's gonna come on in with his maul for. Yes. Let me show you how it's done. Now he needs to go up an increment of 1, and no, he so 12 misses. The 26, however, he slams into this creature, and this definitely hits. Let's roll some damage, see how bad it is. That's 11, and it's even better because he's not here, so you guys can witness this. He needs to make a con save. On a 13, he doesn't do so great. So Gregor runs up, just rages, seeing that this thing has sort of defied his woman, and slams his maul, and the first hit just like takes the arm out of position, and the second hit he brings it straight up into this creature's chest, and his chest just caves inwards, and as it does, there's a huge plume of this gold green sort of glitter that kicks out in his face, and it engulfs Gregor, and Gregor immediately starts to struggle to breathe. He starts coughing and hacking, and he staggers back with you, Kazna, really finding it difficult to sort of draw breath, it would seem, and has like one hand on his knee as he seems to hold up his maul almost defensively to ward off any incoming advances. And that is about when they all decide to go and get all up in your business. So there are three of these guys. One of them is most definitely going for Gavin, and it's going to be the human one, because human on human, it's always fun. So first of all, we're going to have... So this thing is going to come rushing forward, and Gavin, does a 13 hit you? Imagine.
It does not.
13, no. Okay. And there we go. Oh, Kazna, you can have some advantage.
Oh, yeah.
There you are. Wonderful. So, yes, basically this thing comes in, and as it swings its arm, you watch it. It's almost as if he extends his arm backwards, and in a really quite disgusting display of versatility, it looks like as he swings his arm back, his arm becomes like rope-like, almost like just nothing but tendon, as it seems to be all the bones and all the muscle in his arm seems to slide down his arm in the swing to his hand, just making it like this huge flail of bone and meat. And he swings it overhead, and it just sort of comes down as you manage to lean back out of the way and slams into the ground, and there is blood, there is the cracking of bone, and there is more of these strange spores that seem to kick out. Taking it for a second swing. Does a 21 hit you, Gavin or Buddy?
It does not, because I cast shield as a reaction.
Okay. So what does your shield look like as he swings around to your face?
So with the dark raven wing that has now replaced his missing arm basically comes forward, and where before it was just a straight pinion, it sort of fans out like in full flight, like it's expanded out like it's about to take flight, and becomes a shield and blocks the attack.
Okay, so you almost mirror sort of what his friend's arm has done, and managed to sort of block the incoming blow, and it seems to sort of almost wrap round for a second, like completely flaccid. And you have like this huge misshapen, broken, swollen hand that you can see has like what appears to be sort of like small, tiny spores growing across its skin, and it doesn't seem to be able to like grip on or anything like that. And then with a yank of its shoulder, it pulls it back, and you see the arm come falling uselessly to his side. And that takes it to the guy. One of these guys is going to attack my dear old Kazna, buddy. Kazna.
At me.
Does a 16 and a 21 hit you?
21 might.
21 might? Okay.
Who knows?
Might. Okay,
Only
right.
might.
Well,
It only
It
might.
might
We
do
don't-
this amount of damage.
we don't know. Tell
We
me
don't
how
know.
much it's for, and then we'll know. Yeah, that hits. That's
yeah, on a 21, this thing is going to swing one round into you, buddy. And I'm going to need to roll me some damage, as this one, as it swings, is very similar. Sort of this horrible misshapen hand comes swinging towards you, and as it sort of impacts into your side, there is this puff of these spores that kick up, and I'm going to need a con save from you.
Love it. Love that idea. Nat 20, come at me with your spores.
On a nat 20, you manage to exhale just at the right moment, sort of in that well-trained to take a blow. It stops it from winding you as they go for the ribs, and you don't suddenly find yourself like gasping inwards. You are going to take you're going to take 12 bludgeoning damage from this thing, and it sort of manages to pull its arm back. Looks rather perturbed by you, but you can see, there's these spores seem to sort of like pass across you, going for your face, like trying to sort of find ways into you. It's not pleasant. It's not entirely pleasant. The last one is going to go for pain, because you know what, pain. It's going to go for you. That's just damage. That's just straight up as you roll.
He can fly?
Oh yeah, right. So is pain airborne?
I am airborne. I am 30 feet in the air, and I am watching all of this go down beneath me.
Okay, right. And then in which case, Gregor Tuscan will take a nat 1 and a nat 20, because way to balance it out there. So I'm gonna give Gregor a free attack on the nat 1. Oh damn. So as this thing comes up, it goes for a lazy swing with this arm, and Gregor just catches it in the side, like pins it to his body, and as he does, just uppercuts this creature in the chest and sort of up to the face. And as its head snaps back, it looks like a almost killing blow. But just as that happens, it brings its head snapping back, and Gregor gets like headbutted full force in the face. And this one is going to, that's double damage. Wonderful. And another con save. He's already failed one. Oh, happy days. Good times in the Underdark. Yay. So there we go. That's 3. Gregor takes 18 damage. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. As he goes reeling back and makes a con save of 15. He seems to be okay, but somewhat bloodied, as he sort of like pulls free of this creature. It is particularly unpleasant, and he looks like he's in pain. Speaking of pain, how's it going 30 feet in the air?
Kind of watching all of this go down, my natural instincts from having them beaten into me so many times is to protect the female drow in the group, Kazna, my mistress, as she is now donned since all of my other friends are dead. I'm going to hurl... So these mushroom-type creatures, when I threw... I've seen the fire, I've seen the ice. Did one seem to hurt more than the other, or was it just kind of like flavor text?
Fire definitely seems to burn through them quite quickly. However, the ice seems to work simply because these guys are sopping wet and have just come... they're literally like there is water still dripping off them. So that seems to also help.
I'm gonna launch another chromatic orb at the one closest to Kazna, then. Okay. And I'm gonna use my 20 to one of my 20s, my crits to do that.
Nat 20s, okay, right.
Right, and then I'm gonna roll damage, which is this is a 4th, so for oh my god, 3 plus 3 is 6. Haha.
3 plus 3 is indeed 6. Well done.
Everybody break out those loud calculators.
The loud calculators.
So I kind of like hurl it down, saying nothing because I don't really want to draw attention to the fact that I'm up there. They seem more concerned with the rest of my party.
You're absolutely right. Don't draw any attention. Just hurl down a giant ball of...
There is a giant human missing one arm, a drow, and a dwarf that spits lava. I think that I'm the least conspicuous out of everybody here, actually.
Okay, I have wings. That's something, that we don't have.
And giant balls of what kind of energy?
Yeah.
I'm also going to go another 30 feet
Goodness
up.
gracious. Great balls of
Oh,
fire.
are you just you're climbing?
Yeah,
You're climbing.
I'm going up as high as I can. I have range for days, so I'm just gonna
Okay.
rain down hell upon these assholes.
So is it fire damage you're going for, or ice damage?
It's
or...
ice, since that seemed to be working
Okay.
the best.
Okay, cool. So on a you managed to, did you, no, you nat 20, that's why. I was looking for the hit. So you slam into this creature, and Kazna, the one in front of you that's like trying to get all up in your business, you just see this huge bolt of ice come down, and this thing, in true Gavin style, is now sporting a very fancy missing arm, as it just shears one of its arms off. It's pretty unpleasant looking. And it staggers like down to one knee. You hear bone breaking. It makes next to no there's no outcry of pain or anything like that, but there is a huge kick up of this plume of sort of like these spores go up. Can you give me a con save, please, as you are in melee combat with this thing?
That's a nat 1.
Nat 1, fantastic. Kazna,
Can I use my advantage?
You could have. You're right. You could have used your advantage. Thank you for reminding me. But no. You take this sudden. You're not expecting the hit. You're not ready to anticipate it. This huge plume goes off right in your face, and you find yourself stunned. Happy days. As you inhale, and it feels like there's something in the air, and it's not just like something that you can kind of see. You feel it go down your throat. You feel there's something there's something wrong with it, and it burns. Like it hurts. It's like if anyone here has ever drunk Goldschlager, it's like Goldschlager, in all the worst kind of ways. Is that a wild magic surge I just saw you try and sneak in really sneakily without saying anything?
It is. My lovely girlfriend Miss Violence has just subscribed, and welcome to the not web encounter roleplay. Welcome to the web. Well, this is not my stream. Thank you so much, Kelly, for subbing. Cheers.
How could you? Indeed. So you see all this kick off in front of you, as I will just bring up and find out what was the number. It was 7799. Wonderful. Taking it round to Gavin, you're up, as I look up what wonderful things have just happened to yeah. Oh god. The ground. Oh wow. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna change this round slightly. So the ground now at target's feet is fused to glass. You're in the air, but rather wonderfully, the ground is really sort of quite moist and damp out here near the fountain, and you fire this bolt of ice down, and it flash freezes all the ground around the fountain. The party are just far enough back, but all of these creatures, bar the one that's right in Kazna's face, are going to be on difficult terrain now. So pushing them back like maybe 5-10 feet is going to be advantageous towards you guys, as there is now hazardous terrain directly behind them. See, not everything is always bad. Sometimes good things happen with wild magic surges, chat. Hey! Speaking of good things, Gavin, you're up, buddy.
So, just a quick question. Having seen this happen a couple times, these clouds of spores, can I hold my breath before I make my attack? Can I use my bonus action to hold my breath?
You know what? As you're using your bonus action, I will lower the DC. I will lower the DC for you.
Cool. And then I'm going to do my first attack with my Raven Blade. 26 hit.
26 absolutely hits.
I forget, is there one more damaged than the other, or are they both equally damaged? One of them hasn't been hit at all, correct?
One of them hasn't been hit at all, no.
I'll go after the one that hasn't been hit at all. With this, so that's 18 psychic damage.
18 psychic damage. Okay, you slice into this creature. It doesn't seem all too phased. It doesn't recoil half as much as you were hoping.
Gotcha.
As your blade sort of like bites into it, and you see sort of like almost like the burst of tiny feathers kick off around its head. but they don't. It doesn't seem to lay off its assault on you in any way.
So, and then with the because of my divine fury, does it have how does it react to the extra 5 points of radiant?
The extra 5 points of radiant damage hit it quite hard. In comparison to sort of the initial attack, that sort of almost like aftershock, after wave of explosion just kicks through it, and that actually slows it. And you see it coming around for a haymaker, and then just sort of stagger back slightly.
Cool.
It's not like extra effective, if you see my meaning, but it definitely seems to hit it
Gotcha.
properly.
And then with my second attack, seeing that the Raven Blade's not working as well, I had summoned up the Hex Head Mace. I'm going to hit with the Hex Head Mace with the other hand. So I'm sort of doing this swing by and then just keep on coming through, follow through with the Hex Head Mace.
Okay.
And that'd be a 26 to hit.
26 to hit is, that's, he's got nothing. He takes it full force. Oh, damn.
And so that is 11 plus, so it would just be the 11 plus the 8. So that's a 11 plus 8 damage. So another 19 damage, 8 of it fire.
So this thing takes it like a chump straight into the face, and staggers backwards, and he just literally, like the initial blast knocking it back, it slips slightly and it goes down, like its skin bursting into flames in places and melting some of the ice around it. It does seem to be dying. It doesn't appear to be entirely dead. You do notice though, give me a nature check, or I'm going to nature or survival, up to you.
Give me a second. I think I'm going to do survival, but let me double check. And I actually think I've got that mace in there wrong, but we'll stick with it. I'll fix it for next time. That'd be a 19 survival.
On a 19, you watch as this thing sort of burns from the wound, this huge sort of like bludgeoning crack through its skin and bone. You see that there are these spores that begin to seep out, but as they come out, I mean, its skin is burning on fire, and you watch as the spores seem to actually catch. It seems to almost ignite these spores in places, and it burns away most of the cloud. This thing just like shattered to pieces lays there and cooks unpleasantly.
Cool. That's good to know.
It is indeed. There you are. Taking it now to Kasna. Kasna, in answer to your cheeky little question of, since I don't need to breathe because I'm a special snowflake and I'm a vampire, would it be okay with these spores? I'm going to say the breathing is more of a habit for you that you've accumulated doing. If you want to hold your breath now, I will allow you to hold your breath. Just know that... off. Gregor, standing right next to you, is going to see that you are in danger, and because he's great, he's absolutely great, he's going to come over and he's going to say, Kasna, no! And he's going to come in, and do a lot better than he did last time. 2 hits for a 14 bludgeoning and a 24 bludgeoning damage in total. He comes in. So actually, there's something you see in front of you as sort of like you realize you can't move. You're like trying to sort of like inhale, and like you just like everything hurts. You've got sort of flickering spots in your eyes. You look forward. The creature in front of you looks as it slowly stands up. You watch as the jagged tear in its flesh where its arm was, something begins to grow and shape outwards. You watch as its opposite side, its sort of pectoral muscle and shoulder seem to sink inwards, and the flesh seems to move across its chest and push out of the other side where its stump was, and begin to form a very sharp-looking bone-like blade. At like it's extended, almost like Gavin has done but using its own flesh to just morph into this strange kind of, almost like a bone whip or a sort of a shard. Whatever it is, it looks horribly painful and jagged. And just as it sort of pulls it back, Gregor just grabs it by the arm and swings his maul twice into this thing's face, and it staggers backwards, going prone onto the floor, sort of cracking. I'm going to need a con save at disadvantage from you. And
what if I'm not breathing?
It's okay because Gregor double nat 1, so neither of you are breathing at the moment. Disadvantage as you can't take a bonus action to stop breathing. I'm going to say you were stunned at the moment. It's something to learn.
That's a 20 or 10.
That's a 10. So, Gregor and Kazna both sort of. It's more than just sort of going into. It's more than just sort of inhaling. Like you see, like it in places like cuts, nicks, anything you've got sort of like taken a little bit of like area effect damage from being hit, sort of like stuff exploding near you or anything like that. Like you just notice, you feel like everything, old wounds, scars just begin to burn across your body. You see Gregor literally where he's got like a broken nose and like he's all bloody. You see like this cloud hit him in the face and he just sort of like clutches at his face. His maul drops from his hand. He just brings his shield up and he drops to one knee and just like blocks with the shield, just trying desperately to hold on to sort of consciousness. He's not in a good way. Both Payne and Hex will be aware that whatever this is, it seems to sort of like those last two hits with no fire damage to offset it in any way seem to like have like focused around them. You can hear Gregor like trying to inhale and like just gagging. Kazna looks like she's in a pretty bad way as well. And it is their turn next. So the one that is down in front of Gregor, slowly begins to twitch and pull itself back up again. It is struggling. It is on difficult terrain. It does need to make a dex save because of all the ice that has been flash frozen down here. Because your dear old friend, Pain from the sky. It very gingerly manages to get to its feet, stands upright, and then one of its legs just slips slightly, and it goes crashing back down again. And you watch as sort of the ice around it cracks in places. But it doesn't manage to. It sort of like almost gets there, and goes prone again. And then we've got the other one. So behind the old sort of all of this ice, you watch as something pulls itself out of the fountain, and you see strange sort of like, you see basically a huge damaged ruined chest, and you watch as sort of like all the algae that seems to have accumulated and sort of the bubbles, this horrible thick liquid that look mostly like very stagnant water, has come and seems to sort of be swelling around the wounds of this creature, the one that was finished off by dear old Gregor. And as it climbs out of the pool, it again needs to. This ice is actually pretty helpful. It will make a quick dex save. On a 20, it lands and sort of like puts its feet down gingerly, and you see that almost seems to still be connected by these thick strands of water or like gel, slime, something, seem to anchor it to the fountain, and then they snap and it lurches forwards and starts to rush towards. I'm gonna say as it was Gregor who as it was Gavin who finished it off, it's gonna rush forward for Gavin, buddy.
So this is the one that I hit with the fire mason. We thought was down, and now he's back. Okay.
Can I hit it with a hellish rebuke if it's going after Gavin?
It needs to hit you.
Okay, instantaneous. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
I
response
see.
to taking damage. You deal damage in response.
Nudity.
And you did the special snowflake.
Shut up.
There we go. Does a 21 and a 16 hit you?
I'm going to use shield again.
Okay,
Because
so
this is good old Hex. He doesn't like getting hit.
no,
Especially when he's not raging, he does not want to get hit. And right now, he's not. He's waiting to poke Gavin until later.
So this thing comes rushing forward towards you, and you watch as sort of like the sheer weight of it cracks the ice beneath it. It flings itself. It doesn't go for an easy swing. It full-on throws itself at you, and you just manage to sort of bring this huge crested shield up in front of you, and you feel like the impact on the other side. Luckily, Hex is driving a pretty wicked sort of rig, like Gavin lifts, never doubt. And you just manage to sort of like, you dig in, and it's like being hit by one of those good old. Remember the time when you were hit by all those draft horses and back in the day? Yeah, this thing hits not quite as hard, but it's reminiscent of that because it just throws itself in like a full body tackle at you and just slams into the ground at your feet. That is everyone. The rest are all kaput. You see the one just before, like as he runs past, you see the one that is burning on the floor in front of you stops twitching. It seems to be entirely gone. The one that Gregor hit is just fallen down again, but you can see that Gregor and Kazna both look unable to get on with business.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what you see as well, Payne, and it is your turn.
Did it look like one of them was regenerating?
Yes, I'm going to give you that. As you watch, as these things don't seem to have anatomy, doesn't seem to be a big thing they're worried about.
I'm native to the Eastern Underdark. Have I ever come across anything like this? Are they like myconoids?
Roll me a nature. I'll let you roll me a nature or a survival check. It's up to you.
I'm gonna use one of my nat 20s.
On a nat 20, it's definitely not a myconoid. But it does seem to be regenerating. You don't know exactly what it is. It seems to be repurposing the material in the body to repair damage, but it is doing it in such a way that makes it very clear that whatever it is shouldn't be alive. Like, it's straight up moving organs and stuff around the body, which can no longer be connected in any way. Like, whatever is moving and driving this thing isn't like your standard. Like, it doesn't seem to have working internals. It doesn't seem to function with pain. It doesn't seem to function on a nervous system or with rational thought. It just is sort of almost like a puppet that is being sculpted into a more effective killing machine. This is evidenced by the fact that, you took one's arm off. It took flesh from the other side of its body to repair that into a blade that it could try and stab Kazna with. These things are not fun.
I'm gonna turn my attention from the chaos that's going on there, and I'm gonna look over at the orb on top of the tower, the flower. I had cast last week. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna throw a chromatic orb at it, because I think that is what is causing the regeneration.
Way out of your range.
Okay, I'm gonna start heading over that. Make sure you kill them dead. They're coming back to life.
Okay. So
can I dash?
Yeah, I'll let you dash. I'm going to say it's going to take you a couple of turns to sort of get within range of it. It's sort of in this. You're flying over the city, so you don't have to like worm your way through streets or anything like that. You're just going straight as the crow flies. You've got some altitude to gain though as well. So Payne sort of takes off into towards almost. It looks like she's sort of flying towards the sun. This deceptive orb, not quite as bright, but still. Gives plenty of light in here, and it is Hex, buddy, you're up. This thing is prone in front of you. You have advantage. It is trying to pull itself up, but it's just...
Yep, so I'm going to hit it with the mace, knowing that that's keeping me... So I am not going to hold my breath as my bonus action. because I want to save it for something else, just in case.
Okay.
It's a 26 again.
26 hits, absolutely.
So, woof, that's a big hit.
Oh!
That's, God, that must be like total, maximum damage, basically maximum damage on both. That'd be for 21 bludgeon and 13 fire.
Tell me how you coup de grace this thing, and you do not need to make me a con save.
He just brings this down on this, and as he's swinging down, you can see the 6 horns that are on the skull of the mace all start to grow red hot, and so it's just like flames are trailing behind it as he slams down into it, and it's explosion of kind of like when you hit a log in a campfire and you get that explosion of the little things. It's kind of like that as it burns off all of the spores, and
so this thing just manages to sort of like look up towards you, snap dead eyes that don't seem to actually be in the right place in the sockets, and you hit it sort of top of the head, goes straight down through its chest, almost splitting it in two with the mace, as it doesn't seem to have the constitution of a normal human, like bones being moved around and stuff. It peels into 2 pieces and collapses, both pieces burning in front of you.
And then I use the mace like I'm putting out an old cigarette or cigar just to smear it around to make sure there's not even, it is burned up. If it's not, doesn't look like it's on fire, he just keeps sort of stirring the pot until it's all just char.
Okay. Is there anything else on your turn?
The other 2 look like they're down. Like, is there still like body left of the other 2?
There's one that is still moving. It tried to get up. It fell down again.
So am I within distance to get?
Yeah. You can.
My second attack, it's prone too.
It is currently prone. It's trying to get back up again.
So another 26.
26 hits. With some damage.
And for that it's a 21 points of damage, 7 of which is fire.
It's very dead. Very, very dead.
We also have 4 wild magic surges for Scab. Thank you.
Of course we do.
Of course we do. It wouldn't be the Long March without
how many?
4.
4. Damn.
That's what it all is for.
Things come in 4s.
Hey, Will, guess what? Let's kill Scab. Will isn't here. You see that big Bible thump? That is him. Everybody Bible thumps for Will. He is gone. He hates all of you.
I'm going to go to the chat. It's never if this is you.
Maybe that is Will. I like the idea that Will couldn't make it, but I can't make it, but Scab hasn't suffered yet. I'm just going to anonymously post. Thank you very much. I will get to those wild magic surges for Scab in the longest suffering prison inmate / child that you all hate.
He's my boy.
Okay, so you burn up this creature, and as this... okay, right, so I've got... The first one here is... Can someone just read them out to me? I've got 216. The first one is any electricity-based magic used by caster reeks of ozone. Okay, so he's got okay. I'm gonna he's the
best air freshener ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. All right, so he's steaming, he's good. What else have we got? We've got 4919.
I got that one if you want it. Target acquires a new language and refuses to speak any other.
Just like Mom. Mom speaks all the languages.
Yeah, no. He's become a lot more hip and street since he's done time in the pokey now. So he's just he knows the
prison language.
He now speaks prison slang.
I got the next one. Okay. Caster perceives an assassin hiding behind every tree and rock.
I don't blame him.
From the Husgal.
Terrible.
Yeah, he's used to having to watch himself, in the showers. JK, he's hanging from a ceiling. But he's absolutely convinced paranoia has begun to set in. Probably from solitary for the past however long you guys have left him abandoned. Or what's the last?
We got the roll.
We got the roll.
We got the roll.
Oh god.
8642. Scab, listen to this, and I hope you've got the same idea. All all within 50 yards, which he's in the right there hanging outside the pyramid.
Yeah.
Our yards are incapacitated as a huge royal scandal. The Elder Brains having a fit, and Scab can escape. I mean, one out of 10,000. I mean, literally, they are right outside the royal chamber of the Elder Brain.
He'll get out.
Wait, no, but he's been sitting there waiting.
There's a lot going on in Scab's life.
I will remind you that
he can melt things at the moment, can't he?
Yeah, I think he can melt things. He's got like a bazillion different.
He also. So last week, for a Wild Magic Surge, he was given something. So we're gonna flash to Scab for a split second as chaos has erupted in the pyramid, and Scab smiles slightly, and in very sharp teeth, we just see a real close up of like dark, edgy eyes. Something slips between his teeth. He has a paperclip. Remember when he got a paperclip last episode?
Can I help you with that?
And he spits it, and you see it just circle slowly through the air, catches it in one hand, and you see him slowly slide it into the lock, and the slight scratching sound begins.
Come on, you gotta do my edgelord part, because he's been hanging there for like weeks.
We'll get to that.
He does the big pull up. Pull them together.
We will get to the many adventures of Scab, your estranged son. Remember when the parents were the weird ones in this? It's back in the day, right? So we're gonna cut back to the party who are out of initiative for now, as Gregor has just Gavin even has just coup de grace the second enemy, and it seems to be sort of quiet again. You see Pain vanishing into the distance, already sort of out of casual earshot. You'd have to like be screaming the house down to try and shout after her. She's booking it. But what are you guys doing?
I have a vision. I have a feeling in my heart that something's happened to Scab. I'm just like,
I'm gonna say like it that's what happened. Like you see like Spot swimming, and you have almost hallucinate, and it takes you a few moments, like both Gregor and her, but eventually they do seem to come around again. But both of you feel pretty unwell, and that's odd because you're vampires and you're not necessarily prone to too much, but whatever this is, you feel it almost inside you as like
and Pain's flown off into the thing. Okay.
Yeah, you remember Pain, the one who was like, "Oh, and look after you, mistress." She booked it. She left. She flew away. She abandoned you.
I thought I was going to save the day.
I watch.
Yeah, can I do anything like knock these guys out of it? Can I like snack them on the heads or stuff? Are they paralyzed, or are they just?
They look like they're just like it's like all around them. Like it's just. I tell you what, like it knowing what you know now, like you can pull them sort of away from it, and you just hold your maul. Or your mace into sort of the cloud, and just the radiant heat from it just ignites a few last of the spores and sort of burns them away.
I'll watch Pain fly off into distance, curse under my breath because my god, she's either going to die or disappear. And I'll spit on the ground because there's things inside of me that I don't want to be inside of me, and I'm going to take off on foot after her.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke, but TOS. So anyway, so you guys sort of regain your composure. It's Pain.
I don't know when that would ever happen, but
Pain,
I'm glad.
For Pain's...
Thanks for the wild magic surge, by the way. I really appreciate it.
So on 1161, caster is immune to fire while holding a wren's egg in her mouth. So there's a thing like I'll tell you what. As you've gone for the Scottish accent, we'll make it a Scotch egg. While you have a Scotch egg in your mouth, you are immune to fire.
I love those. They're freaking tasty.
They are indeed, and known to make you entirely fire retardant. This is just a thing that is known.
Just a message that this is not known. That is sarcasm. Please do not eat Scotch eggs and try to light yourself on fire.
Firefighters
This is not
everywhere.
a public
Just like,
service announcement.
it'll be fine. It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Left Laurelania in charge of encounter roleplay for one day, and then everybody's putting Scottish eggs in their mouth and lighting themselves on fire.
This is true. This is absolutely
like the new
true.
Tide Pod thing. It's just
Yeah.
Scotch eggs and lighters.
Scotch eggs and lighters. It's just like, yeah. Oh god. Right. So anyway, you guys,
The Scotch Egg Challenge.
the Scotch egg challenge. Oh god, that's going to be making the rounds. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so I'm chasing Pain on foot.
Okay, so you stand up and Gregor sort of like wheezes after you, trying to like call out to you, but still seems to be recovering. Gavin.
I mean, I'm sort of seeing Zune. Don't call yourself not Zune, because I
It's the worst, isn't it?
and I say Zune. It's like put Kazna there, because the old man can only read the names that are on the screen.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't know.
You know that feeling of like maybe like you're a twin, an identical twin, and sometimes you get mistaken for
Yeah.
your counterpart. Then your twin counterpart is murdered, and then they're still mistaking you, and the murderer is the one that's mistaking. That's Succession.
Yes,
My name's
that's the one. Seeing Kazna run off.
Hey, Zune! Oh no, I killed her. The other sister.
The other sister. I mean, I guess we run after, because Payne's kind of our guide here, and I think we were going to head to the big tower anyway. So sure.
Okay, so you begin to rush after them. We're gonna cut back to we're gonna cut back to Payne, as Payne is making her way towards this huge glowing orb. As you do so, can you make me a con save, please?
Is this shit?
It's a con save.
Yeah, I crit though, so it's cool.
Okay, so as you're making your way forward, you suddenly realise that you've had this before. Generally, when you're flying,
When I
through...
fly and there's light, I kind of don't fly so well. I had thought that was natural sunlight only, but I'm getting affected by this the same way.
No. You're used to flying through caves and stuff, and every now and again you have cave-ins, you have tremors, you have stuff like that, and you're used to the fact that sometimes when you're flying along, you almost get stuff sort of hitting your face, hitting you as you pass through, sort of like stuff like grit falling from the ceiling or stuff like that. But this, you are flying into something. It almost feels like at your speed, as you're really moving, you're flying through a cloud of what almost like tiny insects, like a gnat cloud or something like that. But these things it's hitting your face, and sort of as you look up towards the light, between you and the light, all you can see really is the glow. But if you look slightly off to the sides, you realize that you are flying into a high concentration of this glitter-like substance that seems to be the same stuff that was affecting Kazna and Gregor. It looks like there is a much higher concentration of spores directly around this bulb. You probably need like another turn to get well within range, to get within sort of like 120 feet for a good shot. But this is going to start to become a problem.
I think I'm just going to take that information back to my companions then. I'm not going to risk flying into this and then possibly falling down however many feet I am up in the air. Can I see anything else through this myriad of spores around the orb? Is it guarded?
You can see that it seems to have broken the tower at the top. Like, it is like whatever was atop the tower, you're struggling to even remember, because there was next to no light down here. And as much as you have the superior dark vision, being a tiefling but being born of drow, originally you have sort of some of the drow characteristics. You look up and you see that this is has cracked the top of the tower. It has sort of broken, like the top few floors are probably entirely missing, and there is a huge sort of, as you get closer, all of the plant life seems to move and shudder and shift in places. These huge vines, these massive mushrooms that are growing out the side, these horrible sort of growths that are, there's next to no stonework left underneath. This huge black obsidian tower that was really sort of a monument to drow engineering and architecture is almost entirely gone. And whether or not there's any structure left inside, you can make out bits here and there, but how much of sort of like the internal like rooms, corridors, staircases is actually still there is another thing entirely. From your vantage point, you will see at the bottom of the tower there is quite a lot of broken masonry, stuff that seems to have fallen down. How much of that is sort of indicative of there not being much structure left, you're not sure. It could be just the top few floors have fallen. It could be that, you know, this is just a huge plant that has bits of the tower still stuck within it. It's really hard to sort of make out, but you can see. Give me a perception check, as you did nat 20, so I'll give you almost like a flyby. On a 13, you can make out that there's actually quite a bit of movement in the city, but a lot of it does seem to be almost like vines that grow out. Almost you can see the roots from this central tower spreading out through the city. It doesn't seem to be too bad like as you go back, but you notice a lot of the interior sort of government buildings, buildings that were sort of built towards the center around the tower itself, the guilds have pretty much vanished. They look like they've sort of been destroyed by time, by damage, by sort of being broken down by like rot and mold. They're caved in, they're cracked, they're broken, or like huge vines and plants have just simply just torn them to pieces. It looks like the closer you get to the center of town, the less sort of solid structure you're going to encounter. You see all of this, but you can't make out amongst any of that if there are any more of the creatures that you previously saw. And then you realize that you are holding your breath and you're starting to hear your pulse sort of pound in your head, and you got to get out of this cloud.
I'll kind of like start falling and barrel roll back towards my companions.
Always barrel roll.
Always barrel
there's
roll.
no alternative, just barrel roll. So as you begin to head back, Kazna, roll me a survival check to try and track old pain.
Okay.
Are you tracking your pain? I'm tracking your pain.
I've got too much pain to track.
Oh, okay, right.
You would know. Of
You know,
course, all.
Anyone ever wondered where Scab gets his edginess from? I think we just found out between her and her well, Scab's old auntie.
We raised him right, okay?
We did. Raised him right. So on 11, you almost immediately lose sight of dear old Pain, and you're sort of trying to make your way through the initial few buildings, and you come to an intersection, and you're not sure which way to go round. It's either left or right. I'm going to let you pick. It's entirely up to you.
While she is picking that, both Pain and Kazna get a wild magic surge. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help us find each other.
I hope that's the plan.
I mean, you know what would be really helpful? Some kind of marker, like a meteorite coming through the ceiling, because that's always useful in these situations. 3721, I got it. 3721 reads, when the caster next casts when the caster next casts a spell, his age temporarily doubles. Yes. How old is Pain?
Rest of stream so that they can hear the answer too. She's 16.
She's 16. Okay.
She's an edgy
Now,
teenager.
So 32 is gonna. Okay, I'm liking this. So basically, the next time you cast any spell, you're gonna be hit by a sudden wave of maturity, and I think
that's
everyone
Kane's
will
worst nightmare.
sigh a gasp of relief.
Wait, wait a minute. Didn't Scab also become an adult?
He became a teenager. He was
was
like
yeah,
6.
remember he was, yeah.
Became a teenager.
Okay, that's good.
So, where are we?
I have elementals summoned in Cass's presence assume comical forms.
Okay.
So instead of Ragnaros, it's baby Ragnaros.
Oh god. Okay. Right. So, stuff. Yeah. You turn. I'm gonna let you pick left or right.
Can I not see the giant tower and run towards that?
You are currently staring at a building.
Right,
that is
okay, solid.
between-
I'm gonna go left.
Okay, you go left. As you go left, you sort of run round, find your way down, and find one of the central streets that seems to run almost straight towards the tower. You can see there's plenty of stuff that has fallen onto the streets, impeding your way, but you almost have a direct route towards the tower. And as you're sort of rushing forward, above you, you see something come swooping down towards you at an alarming rate. And Gregor just has time to sort of call out, "Incoming!" and grab you and sort of like pull you out of the way as something that's dive bombing you.
Speaking of incoming, Kazna also has another incoming wild magic surge. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yes. I will be right back with you on that.
Okay. So we've got
That's high. That's
7319. 7319. Target's most valuable possession animates and attacks him.
Is that your
Hey.
garrote?
Hey!
Oh my
The
god.
intelligence.
I would argue it would be the crest that I stole off my sister's dead body. But I don't know how that would animate or attack me. So I don't know how that would work.
My spellbook.
Ooh, the spellbook attacking you. Now there you go. Oh my god. Are we
Do
about to
not
battle
destroy
Doom's
that
spellbook?
book.
Holy
Oh.
shit. That's
I
epic.
don't know what my most valuable possession
What the
is.
hell?
Okay, so
what spells do you know? You know like
Here's-
all the awful ones, don't you?
Oh,
His-
my spellbook was awful. Zune's spellbook was awful. It is-
Zim's spellbook was a nightmare time.
Okay, so as we see Gregor like pulls you out of the way, genuinely seeing a figure come swooping down, not realizing it's pain, just see it like having that gut reaction, knocks you to the side like into a wall. Your bag opens, and a book
Is it gonna be? Oh, it's the
flies
book.
out, and it skims once across the floor, and you see the book open up and sit there, and as it sits on a what looks like a small patch of grass. You watch as the grass slowly wriggles and moves and writhes and seems to clutch onto the book, and suddenly through the pages tiny almost look like
I swear if you say hands, I'm gonna reach through the internet and I'm gonna punch you.
tiny petals or leaves begin to somehow sprout, as if you've have you ever done that wonderful thing where you plant cress underneath someone's keys in their keyboard?
What?
Have you never done that?
I have
it's
no
really funny.
idea what horrible thing you were speaking of.
Have you never done that?
Who
are
are
you?
you?
Has
We
no one ever done
we
that?
knew he was evil. We didn't know he was this evil.
Has no one in chat can back me up here. Come on, like it's a really fun thing where you.
Who are you?
Yes,
hurt you?
yes, right finger in nose.
Keyboard
Okay,
hurt
no,
you.
like when you get someone's keyboard because you're really bored at work and you get crest.
This doesn't work. You're at work and you're like, oh, that'll be fun.
I'll plant plant life in someone's electronical
I
equipment.
disagree.
I'm not insane, okay? This
not
is
a
a
thing. I
normal
disagree
thing.
fundamentally with this.
Googling, literally Google this. Thank you, Prof. Prof
They're
backs
all
me
liars.
up.
They're liars. They're liars.
No,
and
they're
you're
not
lying.
liars.
This
They're
is
not
wrong.
liars. Have inspiration, anyone who backs me up. Have inspiration.
I back you up. I
Any-
agree.
In
I agree,
any
this is the
D&D
thing.
campaign you're playing in,
I'm gonna
just
note down my
turn around to your
inspiration.
turn around to your DM and be like,
One
Indiana
inspiration.
Josh said it was okay, and I'm like, yeah. There we go. So, yeah, you see like through the pages, it seems like they tiny little holes appear and stuff begins to grow through. But this is like a sickly. It starts off green, and you watch as the petals slowly sour to a brown, and finally a black. And you see there is this small sort of plume that goes out, and you see it's this glittering green and gold, and then it darkens and it goes from a gold to a brown, dying to black, almost as if an ember like slowly goes from like that burning gold to that blackened char. And this book is going to suddenly flex ever so slightly. The pages bulge, the writing on the pages seems to sort of melt together and into a pool of blackness focused around the spine, and suddenly that blackness vomits forward a pool of darkness that lands just near the book. And from that comes a hand.
No.
This huge black hand on the floor, as if something is now trying to pull its way out of this inky blackness. What's everyone's initial reaction to this? As this happens very, very bloody quick in front of you. Payne, you land nearby. Gregor and Kasna a little bit disorientated. First one up, Hex. What do you do?
I shoot it with a fireball. I rolled a wisdom saving throw.
No.
He is freaking terrified.
No. Can I reaction and jump in front? No.
I tell you what, I give you a dex check, just a dex check, not a dex save, a dex check.
Can I use a nat 20 on it?
Yes, she can. Of course she can. Why couldn't she?
Yeah, why couldn't I, Josh? Why couldn't I?
How many nat 20? How many nat 20?
She has
you got?
two
I can-
left. She has
I can
two.
use a nat 20.
I tell you what, you've also got a nat 1. Roll for it.
Oh, a 50-50.
50-50
D2.
time.
50-50.
D2.
D2.
D2, do it!
Do it.
Do it!
Do it.
I'm so upset about everything.
I really need you to do this, not for me, but for Zune, okay?
I'm trying. Oh, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I don't.
It's not like your
Just do
sister's
it.
trying to reach through the abyss to come and love you. Yes!
Got it.
Roll me some damage, please.
Come at me, Gavin.
It's not too bad. Just 27.
It's alright, I can take it.
27, okay. So,
I'm assuming since she dove in front of it, she takes full, right?
yeah, you're gonna take full damage, and on top of that, hold on, let me just figure this out. What's the radius of fireball?
Oh, it's big.
If this
Yeah.
is not.
Radius is 20-foot radius. So
Okay.
40 feet across.
Okay, so this is going to hit the entire party as you guys are close together, and she is throwing herself into the midst. So this is going off about 10 feet in front of you, as everyone needs to make me a dex save. Pain
If this
takes
isn't.
half
If this
damage.
is some random book demon, I'm gonna be mad.
I got a thing. I've got a thing, don't I?
Save that book. You could.
Yes,
You...
I have danger sense, so I have advantage on dexterity saving throws. So that's a 19, which
19.
15's my DC.
So everyone other than Kasna takes half damage, because Pain has resistance to fire damage. Happy days. But yeah, it just impacts you square in the chest, and Kasna, you are thrown across, like literally you dived, so you are knocked prone, and you skitter towards the book, just pretty much seeing stars, having sensitivity to light, and having a fireball hit you point blank in the face. pretty much. You are now prone and pretty.
Can I yell out? Can Gavin yell out? We can't let Zune's magic fall into the hands of those things. They infect.
If you touch that book, swear to God, Gavin, you won't live to see another day.
Who's Zune?
As this happens, where is it? Can you make me an athletics check?
Who?
Gavin.
Sure.
You are hit by what feels like a wrecking ball. As you just shot Kasna Vandry at point blank range with a fireball. Gregor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he does. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, he does.
And
He
like
does.
he hits you like a freight train and knocks you to the floor. Doesn't do any damage, but he's on you in your face, like frothing at the mouth, angry. But he's just going to hold you in place to make sure that you ain't gonna do any dumb shit.
While all that is going on, can I try and cast a spell magic on the book?
What level are you casting
3.
it at? Okay, level 3. I'm gonna need I'm gonna need a check from you. I'm gonna make it an Arcana check. Actually, no, wait, no, it's not an Arcana check. No, it's whatever your
It's the D10 plus. Yeah, it says it there.
Yeah.
So just a charisma check, or no? Sorry.
Yeah, charisma check.
Okay, just straight up charisma. Where are you?
And what are you casting it on? Are you casting it on the
On the book to see if I can get it to stop coming to life.
Was it 3 plus 2?
Right?
I
Was-
have no idea.
It's because you have it's from the I believe it's from the want that you got.
Oh, right.
That
Yes.
automatically goes on. So you on a 24 you cast it on the book. Let's, you know what? I still have access to her sheet.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone. She's been through so much.
She's been through enough.
Why won't you
Every
just let
episode.
her die, guys?
I
Let her die.
open her sheet. Hit points minus 76. Yes. So as that is going to happen, I'm going.
I'm 32 now. That's right. I rapidly age because I casted a spell.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
So, you know what happens? You cast a spell magic on the book, and as you do, there is a thin black beam of energy that hits, that reaches out, and you cast a spell magic, but you feel. Usually when you cast it, you sort of push towards. You cast towards something, you sort of push your magic out of you and sort of push it towards someone. This time, you got to push the magic. Something seems to grab the other side, and for a second, you feel you are connected to it. And as you realize, almost sort of panic, you try to stop casting and realize you can't, as you feel magic and energy being drained from you, and you feel suddenly exhausted, as if you just rapidly aged 16 years.
Can I put in for flavor text
I'm feeling
for the aging? Can it be
32.
like a black kind of? Has anyone seen Swan Princess, where like the kind of fire like ravels around her? So she goes from being like this dorky like teenager to like this voluptuous woman all in once, with like the black swirling flames of like hell around her, and she's just like,
How temporary is temporary?
I didn't think it was temporary.
It was permanent.
It is
It
temporary.
was temporary.
no, it is okay. I thought it was permanent. Thank goodness.
5 days.
5 days. This will be fine.
It's gonna be 5 days. A working week.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
How old was Zune?
Zune, I can't tell because I can't see my character.
She was younger than me, but then,
then
she became
aged.
older than me, like
She's
another
like
aging.
120, I
so-
think.
Okay, so she's not 32.
No,
Okay.
no.
I was going to be like,
She's-
that's too free.
She's 220. She was 110.
Oh,
She
that's
had
right.
her
Yeah, and I aged ridiculously.
Almost like Pain just had her age doubled. It's
Can I try and
painful
pull,
reminder.
Can I try and pull the magic continually after that to see if I can like draw more of it into me?
Oh no, it's not going from you. No, it's not going to you. It's leaving you. You're being drained
Got
of
it.
magic.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's terrible.
Indeed. You what spell slots do you have?
I only have a couple of like level 1, 2, and 3 spells left. 2 for each of them. No, sorry, 3 level 1 spells, 2 level 2 spells, and 2 level 3.
I tell you what. Can you make me an Arcana check, please?
I'm gonna use my nat 20 because I see that evil look that you're getting on your face, and it's my last
Okay.
one, so. Hey.
Oh! Oh!
Zune is still awesome even in death!
Okay. I'm not going. Everyone, headphones off apart from
Oh,
Matteo.
no.
Yeah, I refuse.
No.
You can't make me. Come over here and make me.
I am not happy about
I
this.
disagree. It's just like the keyboard again.
Will's not happy about it either, but you know. Okay.
It's fine. It's so. You feel a connection to something. There's no voice because I can't do the voice, but there is a connection to something as you are anchored to this book, and around you, the events seem to freeze. You can see that there is something growing that still seems to be pulling itself out. Whether or not it's about to sort of break apart, you can't tell if you've interrupted the spell. This happens very quickly, and then time seems to freeze, and you feel the presence of someone looking down on you, someone looking over your shoulder, someone close by, almost breathing down your neck. Pain. And you get the feeling that there is something linking you to this individual.
Hello? Are you out there?
You get almost like a strange moment where you realize that, like, you're not sure if you're hallucinating or not, but words begin to appear in front of you, almost like a text that is written in exquisite penmanship, and it is written in Dark Elven.
Which I can read.
I know you can. And the words form in front of you, seeming to be like picked out in the blackness, almost like ink just forming in the air. And it asks, "Who are you?"
No one of consequence. Are you Zune? And I try to like pull up the mental image that I got from looking into Kazna's dreams earlier.
As you try and pull up a mental image, you see sort of like you pull up the mental image of like some of the like horrific injuries and stuff like that, but they all seem to be brushed aside, almost as if you're like trying to form them and something just waves their hand through the smoke that was forming into the picture, and a much more vivid picture appears of a woman who looks rather different. She has a long flowing white hair. She has beautiful piercing eyes, a smile with absolutely no warmth, and a purple dress that seems to hang off one shoulder delicately and seems to be made up of almost like individual almost like scales, or maybe teardrops, something just like comes up across the shoulder and hangs down with a sort of a huge, long, flowing cape. She looks incredibly well dressed, like it's almost like a cocktail dress as opposed to anything sort of anything sort of warrior like. But you see vague resemblances in the twisted image that Kasna remembered zoom in. She's still got the same eyes, she's still got the same cold and unfeeling smile.
Does she say anything? Or does a text appears?
She doesn't say anything. She just seems to focus your mind.
What would you have me do or say?
There's a pause, and for a second it almost feels like it's like the words have gone, as if the connection has been severed. And finally, words appear, and it says, "Reclaim me."
And how would I go about doing that? From my understanding, your body was completely destroyed.
As she's standing there in front of you, like almost like this mirage of her, she fades, and behind her, standing exactly sort of like behind where she is the tower. And words appear, and sort of there is the words say, "Find what is left of me." And that final sort of flourish on the E, it just links up and almost seems to circle once around the tower before the words fade.
Well, that might be in a bit of a problem, considering we're about to destroy that tower. But I will bring your words to your sister, and if not, I hope you find peace in the afterlife.
There's like a pause, and you feel a slight humor wash over you that isn't quite your own, and find yourself almost like chuckling, but without understanding why. And finally, it simply says, "Bring my book. Bring it to me."
I will do as you ask.
And slowly, everything begins to regain its speed. And in front of you, give me 1 second. Headphones on, everyone. Here we go. So as that happens, yeah, you you guys see sort of this hand that is reaching up. Suddenly the pool seems to flex, twitch, shudder, and then constrict quickly. And the hand that is coming up is caught, and there's a slight tear, and it sort of twitches, and the pool vanishes into the floor, almost seems to seep through the floor. The pages stop flexing, and the book goes limp, and the grass that is sort of burrowing into the pages pulls back. But the hand suddenly twitches and pulls itself up.
Am I, like, conscious at this point?
You are conscious. You see all of this sort of like time seems to stop and then slowly come back in as everyone else around you regains. No one else seems to have been aware of what just happened, but this hand is now sort of sat like almost like an arachnid. And
Does it look like my sister's hand?
Can I grab the
Having
book?
known my sister to have lost her hands many
I
times,
was
Is
gonna
the
say,
book
which
in lava?
one?
known her prior hands.
Is the book in
before.
lava? Can I grab the book?
How dare you.
I am gonna grab the book though.
As you move forward,
Do I see her walking towards the book?
You do indeed see.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get to that book as well, because
You
ain't
are-
no
you
way
are
some
in-
random person is taking my book.
Miss
You are in
Especially
front of
32-year-old
I'm
random
in front of the
person.
book. I'm just picking up this book. You've just turned into a
Mistress,
2-year-old.
Mistress, please. I beg of you to allow me to grab the book. It is what?
Who do you think you are?
Well, Miss Zun Vandry of House Vandry has told me to grab that book.
Really? She did you? She came to you in a vision, did you?
Yes. When
How am I to believe you? I just met you. A minute ago you were, what, 15, 16, and now you've doubled in your age? I don't trust you?
Well, yes.
What did my sister tell you to do with this book?
I'm to take the book to the tower and to repurpose
Very well,
her.
we'll take it to the tower together. I'm going to put the book in my bag.
It like tears as you lift it up, and for a heart-wrenching moment, you sort of fear the worst, Kazna, as you look down and you realize that it's actually been rooted to the ground and you've actually torn the roots up. There's like something has burrowed into the pages, making it almost difficult to turn the pages, but you can like pull, you know how you get like loose strands of fiber like from clothing that you can pull. You will have to like almost individually pull what look like slightly thick grass that's blackened and seems to have, as you touch it, it's really rough, almost as if it's got tiny barbs in it. Not enough to prick the skin, not enough but you like, this is unpleasant. And around you, you notice all of the grass and plant life seems to have wilted and died.
Interesting. Okay, so I'll put the book in my bag, and I want to turn on... Is Gavin around? Is he nearby?
As that happens, Gregor looks at you, Gavin, and just goes, "Oh, shit." And just slowly picks you up with him as he stands and turns, and he like forcibly turns you, so like you've got your back to everyone. Like he picks you up and turns, look at,
With his
and
belt,
and then just turns you round, and he's just like, "Oh shit."
And you, Gavin, what is it? Couldn't get over seeing her die one time. Had to see it again, did you? Had to do it for the second time.
Did you not see those things we just fought that were probably once humans? Have you not seen your clothes, our food, everything that is around here
Kazna,
taken over?
Kazna, your foot,
I'll
your foot.
look down.
You have a hand on your foot.
Gavin
Like,
just
It is just
stops.
attached to your foot. Like if that's like your toes, it's just there.
On that note, I'm gonna start hovering slightly above the ground.
Just
Gavin like takes us. Well, no, I've got Gregor holding me in place, so I can't move anywhere.
You
But
can't move.
Gavin shrinks back from that.
you shrink into Gregor.
Yes.
You become great.
Yes, dwarven, 4'5" Gregor, and somehow Gavin appears to look like he is, 6'6" Gavin. Seems like he's disappearing into the dwarf because, he's just, he.
What's got
He's
you
been
all
heck
tied
the
up?
fastest
Was it this
talker in the
campaign?
underworld, in the Underdark.
Meta, was
Stop
it this
talking.
campaign that we used to have a hand? Didn't Gregor have a hand at one point?
No, he had a nipple.
No, he had
Yeah,
the
nipple.
hand on the nipple.
Ah,
There was a tiny nipple hand,
there was
yeah.
the nipple. Oh, there was the nipple that grew an arm. That was
Yeah.
it.
That was it.
I don't know if it'll bring you any peace, mistress, but she seemed to be content, humorous even, as if being in whatever place she was planned.
Good. I laid her to rest as best I could with what was left of her. Look at Gavin.
Well, we have a very long march over to that tower to destroy the bulb. To stop.
You're new here, you don't get to say that. You have to earn the right.
Who's that, Gregor?
Kids these days.
I don't understand why you're. We have a short stride to
That's
the
better.
tower. Pain looks
No,
very
it's not.
confused and off balance because she's now bigger than she was, and everything's. Irregardless, we should be going. The longer we stay here, the less of the potion that we have.
I agree with you.
Where's
Pain is
the
now
brain
top-head.
thing?
It's also in my bag. There's a lot of things in my bag.
You need a bag of holding.
And Gavin, I propose in future endeavours you think things through and watch out, perhaps.
Would you want Soon's memory tarnished by those things?
I don't think that's what tarnished Soon's memory. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
Mr.
Or what comes after. Don't you dare know a thing about her or me or what we do.
Fine.
Good. I'd like to turn and I'd like to walk towards the tower.
Okay. As you walk towards the tower, there is sort of like what appears to be. It almost looks like the barricades that were being erected, and Hex and Gregor both sort of recognize this in the big fight that broke out back in the city of House Thel, where they barricaded the streets and they did sort of like made sort of stuff like that. You were starting to see chaos. Everything on the outskirts of town looked pretty abandoned and like nothing much had happened. But in the center of town, as you get closer, there are like wagons and stuff that have been pulled into the street. Most of them look like they've been rotted beyond belief. Like it doesn't look like it would stand up to much resistance. But it has like a like growths growing in and out of it, almost as if there's huge vines that seem to mesh this mess of a barricade together. And as you guys are making your way across.
Is Kazna majestically marching away with a foot on her, with a hand on her foot?
Yeah, she
Yes,
is.
I am.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
I'm just checking, so I got the visual there. There's it's like the kid who's holding onto her leg as she's walking down.
Yeah. This hand.
I look at, I kind of look at Gregor and just am like, are you going to? I think that I'm leaving this with you.
I'm starting to worry that Zune might have a hand in this.
Well, Hex is actually very amused. Gavin went.
makes a change. Her being a helping hand.
You're not helping, friend.
I don't really understand what dumb references the two of you are making, but I'd like to once again say, can we please fucking get going?
Oh, I thought we were walking.
Okay.
Yeah, like we're just walking behind, just like
Yeah, I'm
the,
just walking
the-
about.
we're-
I'm
we're
watching
like the kid-
Kazna walk
Okay, retcon
down the
that.
street with a
Retcon that,
hand
okay.
on her foot.
I'm
And
just kind of
Adam's not
hovering
gonna
behind
mention
them, listening to their whatever. I'm trying to, because Payne's trying to pick up the pieces of the story of what's happened.
Hey, check it out on YouTube. Season 1, most of Season 2, soon to be Season 3. Spoilers.
Is
You
he
guys-
turning into a pirate? I don't know.
I don't know. I can only do a few accents, though. It's pirate. It's pirate Gregor time. So
Oh my god, no, stop.
it is right. It's entirely fine. So You nailed it. You guys are making your way forward. As you see in front of you, there's this huge twisted mess of a barricade, and you seem to have a choice. You can either try and go through it. The building to your right looks like it was a huge storehouse of some kind. The building to your left, and 2 more retweets, and we will have a viewer decision, which is where you guys literally decide, hey Josh, you know what would be really fun? This. And it happens because that's the way we do it. So you have a choice between that on your right, which is like this huge storehouse. It was probably used for like food, or maybe like could have been like one of a million things. And you have what looks like it was a very upper class shop, like a market, like a boutique or something. You can see like through the way you can have Shia LaBeouf return. But there are consequences. I'm warning you, Louise. I am warning you. Right here, right now.
Yes. What's the warning?
To get that Twitter account ready.
Yeah. So, you have a choice between sort of like an upper market boutique shop, which could have sold finery, it could have sold jewelry, whatever, and is much smaller, or you have a huge storehouse on the right. Or you can just try and hack your way straight through, or you can come up with something completely different. Like, it's up to you guys. Please, no Shire.
There is now a viewer decision. So
there is now a viewer decision. Okay, guys. So the options they have to sort of get through to sort of make their way into the inner district is they can go through a storehouse. They can go through an upper-class sort of finery boutique shop. They can try and hack their way through a barricade. Or they can... What? Oh god. Wait. I've just realized. Wasn't here. Let me do this. We're going to do this old school because I don't know how Will does the thing, and I don't know...
Will gave me his evil magic thing. It's here, but I have no idea how to run it, so...
I like some of the suggestions coming in. Shire gives Kazna a manicure.
Okay, right. I tell you what. So what
do you want me to set up a straw poll?
I've got a straw poll in front of me. Everything is good. Don't even worry.
Good old days of the straw poll.
Good old days of the straw poll.
Oh, going back in time, man.
So we have. How does the what's the secret? The secret way through into the city. And
Okay.
what suggestions have we got in chat? Let's have a look. See, we've got please no Shire. That's all I can see, and it's all go through the sewers. Okay, go through a breezeway that's a thick, dense, hazy substance that may be a gelatinous cube. What's a breezeway?
It's a way that's...
Yeah, like between like 2 courtyards where it's will be like a big arched outdoor area so the breeze can get through. It's a southern thing.
I learned something new today about architecture.
Courtyard of ooze.
Or that too, connector between home and garage. That will work as well.
Indeed. And yeah. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Or a glorious hole. I'm gonna go ahead and glorious hole. Yeah, happy days. It's okay, Josh. I didn't know either. There we go. It's not just me. Going past a cave system filled with Lorch toxin and glowing bats. Love. I don't even know what that.
Maybe Shire arrived, but I don't know.
But I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Glowing. It's a Hobbit thing. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit. Okay, there we go. A mushroom nutrition pipe. There we go. A mushroom nutrition pipe.
Laugh toxin.
Okay, giggle gas. Giggle gas chamber / glowing bats. Glowing, giggling bats. Get one more in there real quick.
Does anyone have repel on them? Hey.
Oh.
Pokemon jokes. Yeah.
Hey. Mushrooms. Oh, I love that. A labyrinth of alleyways. Okay, I like a labyrinth. A labyrinth is always good. So, I am the worst at spelling. Everything is terrible. Okay.
I actually have a spelling command in my chat for how bad I am at spelling.
Oh,
Suck
that's.
at it.
You are the worst.
I am
there
the
we
worst.
go. I'm gonna post this now. There we go. Straw Poll is live. I will check in on that in a minute. So all of this sort of is going on. While this is going on, though, Kazna, as you're approaching, this hand scuttles up your leg to attach itself to your hip, and Gregor just ripples with anger and like he just, oh, you fucking bastard! Like,
Can I insight this hand? Because I want to make sure it's the hand of my sister and not the hand of some random book demon.
You know, Vecna might be the hand of Vecna.
Yeah.
Or what's the sun elf? The jackass sun elf who took the good hand.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah,
That side's the worst.
That's all you know him as. That's
It
literally
started with a
all.
T. It was Tavian. Fuck
Tavian.
Tavian.
It's
Fuck that guy.
Tavian Crowl.
I thought I was gonna say Tavian Cray
Krau's
for some reason.
frickin' hand he stole from Zune.
Yeah.
That's
After
an
she valued
11.
Awesome donation.
Unless you want to give me advantage.
Because it's her
That's-
sister's hand, you know? Like, she
And I do have
definitely
advantage
recognized
lined up.
her
I just
hand.
haven't used
Okay, so on an 11, it's a hand. It is a hand of a. It's.
Can I use the advantage beforehand, or can I use the advantage, or do I have to call it beforehand?
You have to call it beforehand. These have always been the rules. How long have you been playing? How long have you been playing with us?
10 years.
10 years, like literally 10.
But today it might be different, so you gotta
Oh,
ask.
gosh.
It's her welcome back day.
It is indeed. Welcome back to that thing that hates you. You inside the hand. It is a sun elf hand.
It is.
Yes.
Oh, well, fuck this hand then. I'm going to stab this hand as it gets to my hip.
Okay.
Oh, ooh, now it's really creepy. Before when it was like, oh, Zune saying hello. Now it's like, ew.
Okay. Make me a stab.
I will.
A stabby check.
Stabby.
Please make me a stabby check. I'm sorry.
You've lost control.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is not going to be. You're not going to be able to stab this with your greatsword. It's attached to your hip.
Well.
Do you have a dagger?
I do. I just don't have one listed, but I have one in my pack.
You have dagger.
I have dagger. Hang on.
It's
give me
time
a
for
minute.
dagger.
It's
How's the
time for
score?
dagger time.
It's dagger time. Okay. Oh, we have. How's Straw Poll coming along? We have a tie. We have a tie for Giggle Gas and Labyrinth. Everyone get your votes in. I will post again. Make a stabby check. Always make stabby checks. Stabby
I'm
checks.
making my stabby check. Just give me one stabby moment.
One goddamn stabby moment. Once again, if you guys want to get involved, you can donate to give Wild Magic Surges, Nat 1s, Nat 20s, and all manner of crazy stuff. There we go. That is
25 on my
That's-
stats check.
It is a 25. You are actually at disadvantage, but it's still a 25. Roll with some damage.
That's a 5 damage.
On a 5, you stab into it. It is still attached to you.
Is it skewered at least on the?
It's no. On a 5, no. That's pretty terrible damage, and it's actually attached to you. You stab straight through it though, without stabbing yourself, which is nice. Do you have a second attack if you want to?
I would
It's
love
still
to,
attached.
love to go again and hopefully not stab myself. Let's go. It didn't go. Hang on. Let's go again.
Let's go again. On a 10, you manage to miss it. You don't manage to stab yourself, but you very nearly sort of like you jab into your belt as this thing. You were doing the knife trick from Alien, as it's sort of like you go to stab it and it's like between the fingers and it moves and it moves. And That is, I believe you can only dagger. I don't think you can dagger.
I can't dagger. Well, I can dagger, but I have to make a special move to dagger. And
Okay.
after I've made my special dagger move, I then have
No,
to
she can bonus action dagger, just doesn't get the damage bonus, so it's just a D4.
She would
I
have
can.
to. She would have to switch hands. So you would have to.
Oh, she only has one? Yeah, if you've only got one dagger, then you need to have 2 daggers to be able to do dagger.
You can dagger.
Yeah, you.
So you stab into this thing. This thing is going to. It's going to jump. It's going to jump not very far. It's going to jump onto your bag. And it's going to make a very bad strength check to try and open your bag.
Oh, this bitch.
This bitch.
This bitch. Better not.
It nat 20s! It nat fucking 20s! Can't make this shit up. It rolls an 18 on a 20-sided dice. Rolls an 18. Nails it. And it manages to easily just clips open the buckle and hops in to
This
bag.
bitch. Oh, no. We're stopping the party. We're stopping. I'm taking the bag off.
Stop!
I'm opening this bag, and I am not happy with this sun elf hand.
Make me turn this bag around.
Can I take the bag off and open the bag?
You can take the bag off and open the bag. Roll initiative against the bag. This thing is in your bag, and it is clutching onto the book.
Can I stab it again?
Brainy is lying in there again, not looking as confused as a brain with no facial expressions can look. You get a general sense of confusion.
Can I pull the book out so I'm not in danger of stabbing my brain?
Toss me the book.
No!
Wait, you're pulling the brain out or the book
I'm
out?
pulling the bag. I'm pulling the book out.
Just
Put the book in the bag?
Turn my entire bag upside down. My brain falls out. My hand falls out. My book
I'm
falls
pulling
out.
the book out of the bag, and the
Are there some bagels in there too?
There's some bagels.
Bagels and baguettes?
Yeah, there's bagels and baguettes. And there's a croissant, but that's.
So I knew you were going. I knew you were going to go there.
Oh, wait. What's the code word?
Do you want a croissant?
Are you trying to butter me up?
Are you trying to butter my croissant?
There we go.
Trying to.
Brainy speaks entirely in emojis. There's just a confused face.
Okay.
I'm begging you to give me the book, mistress. I promise.
I'm begging you to shut up about taking my book. Now, someone help me with this hand.
There's a hand attached to the book. It's just gripping onto the book.
Can I throw my dagger at the hand?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gavin raises both hands and just looks at Kazna innocently. I'm not.
And Gregor's just like watching in confusion as you fight a book. On a 10, you miss. You miss the hand. But a 10 is actually enough. You just miss the book as well as you nearly and Kazna's hand as well. You just narrowly, like a dagger flies past you. Yeah.
Can I make a dagger? A dagger.
You can make a dagger attack.
Dagger. That's 24 on my first dagger.
Is it a disadvantage?
Is it?
It is.
I thought it was only because it was attached to me.
No, it's no longer attached to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A 24 hits. Roll me some damage.
That's
Doesn't have an
7.
A 7. This hand comes away on your dagger, skewered in place.
Wonderful.
It twitches a couple of times, and then, like a spider dying on its back, its fingers just curl inwards, and it seems to go rigid, with the blade just poking out.
Wonderful.
Do you examine the hand?
I'd love to examine the hand.
Okay, if it's dead,
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, roll me an investigation or a history.
Which one's better? Oh, they're both the same. It's 8.
on an 8. It is indeed a Sun Elf's hand. It appears to be an undead Sun Elf's hand that is sort of just badly sort of cracked in places. The nails that were once manicured are sort of heavily tarnished, broken in places, and blacker than black. And it's just horrible, gnarled and twisted.
I know you're having a hard time understanding why I want the book, but it's because your sister requested that I take it to the tower, and you knew... Wait, I don't know any of that. I believe that we should follow her instructions exactly, lest something bad
Well, we're
happen.
all going to the tower, aren't we? Unless you're planning on leaving and going to the tower alone and
I had
dying
been planned
alone.
on leaving this entire situation until I found out the reason that you were here, mistress.
And what's that?
I think you've suffered through enough pain, and that...
Really? You can
There's-
tell that, do you? You have a suffering sensor, do you?
I mean, her name is literally Pain!
I do indeed have a sense of suffering, and I know that
Look
the...
at Gregor like, can you not?
Remember when you were silent for the last 2 hours? Remember that?
I elbow Gregor just to be like,
I know that there is no worse suffering than a mother losing her child, and I don't
What?
want you to go through that.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds to explain what you just said.
The tiefling boy, the one that is hanging somewhere. I know that you hurt for
Draw
him.
my sword. And you know this how?
Yes.
There, were you?
No, if I was there, I would have rescued him. I do not appreciate tieflings being bound. I'm seeking to destroy what it is that makes tieflings. I'm searching for Hex.
can both me and Gregor just cringe at the I would have rescued her?
But Gregor...
We both know what this. Hold my baby.
Gregor pipes up and says, "Who did you say you were looking for?"
I'm looking for Hex. He is the one who is responsible for our condition. I'm hoping that by finding him, I will be able to unravel this curse that is tiefling nature.
What do you plan to do when you find this hex?
I don't know. I haven't
You
been
better
on
figure
this...
it out. You better figure it out soon. And next time, don't just assume that because you might happen to be there, you could have done something different. You could have rescued him. You do not know what it was like.
No, and I don't. I'm not trying to say that, mistress. I cannot imagine the pain that you were going through. I just know that I don't want you to suffer any longer. I know that you haven't known me for very long, but please understand, I am not like the Dark Elves here. I search for peace. Everywhere.
I'm going to need some more assurance than just your word.
I have
That it will
nothing else.
soon.
I have nothing else that I can give you, besides the fact that I've been here traveling with you when it is just as easy for me to flee and fly. I don't have to be here. I don't know nor particularly like any of you. It's your decision to make. It's your family.
Tell me, Pain. As you said, we haven't known each other long. We haven't known each other at all, really. And I know very little about you. How is it exactly that you came to be here alone? Alive and alone?
I was born here in the Underdark. I was supposed to be born a drow. I was supposed to be the great hope of my family. And then I became a tiefling, and I was ashamed to my family, so they sent me with our tutor, and I learned what I could. And I suppose maybe he took pity on me for my existence. We fled, we hid from this. That is when I found you. I've I've been searching for Hex my entire existence and hoping that he could explain the contract that was made that creates tieflings, so that no one has to feel as alone as I do, and no one has to suffer the pain of being unloved. Which is why I know how much you love him, and we will get him, but you have to let me help. You don't have to do it alone. Your sister isn't here with you any longer, but I know that she is still inside you. Listen to the logic. Listen to your heart.
I will think on it. We are not at the tower yet. When we get there, I will give you my answer.
That is all I can be asking for. And she kind of half bows.
I can't even ask Josh where we are because he's gone. Oh, he's
There
coming
he
back.
is.
Okay, so Josh, you missed it. The books, it turned into a bird and it flew away. So that's solved that problem. Other than that, where exactly are we? We're between two places, right?
Yeah, we
you're
didn't tower yet.
You're between two places. You can see the tower beyond the barricade. You can either try and smash your way through this huge barricade made of vines and flotsam and jetsam. You can try and go through one of the two buildings on your side, or you can try and find another way through.
Do these plants and stuff seem to be to shy away from fire like the funguses that we've been dealing with so far?
Apart from there was a huge explosion, but that went off right in your face. And since then, there hasn't been any additional fire. So
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, can I take my mace and just sort of see if it's, is this dry enough or is it wet and awful and would never light on fire? I mean, it is fire. You
could probably try and burn it, but there is that kind of most of the moisture actually seems to have sort of gone out of the area. Like it's quite, there's like that horrible itchiness again in the back of your throat.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, can I looked to Gregor. Do we want to try to burn our way through?
Yeah, I'll do it. Just out the way. And he Gregor sort of puffs his chest up and sort of walks over to the front and, don't look. I don't like you when you look. Can't go where you're looking. Very shy.
Have I seen Gregor throw up lava before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
Like
throw
shy.
my vial of oil in front of him so I just kind of something to help?
Yes, you can.
Just general, hopefully it breaks. If not, then...
Yeah, you throw it. You throw it, and you actually watch as it doesn't break. It seems to catch in vines, and you see some very small vines that seem to slither out, wrap around it, and draw it in. And as that happens, Gregor goes, "Did you want that?"
No, that was for you. To light on fire. Light it on fire!
He looks, he's like, "Oi, that was mine!" And just, and this, he just there's some glow in his neck, his beard sizzles, and he vomits forth lava, and the lava just covers half this barricade. And as it does, there's a small sizzle and crack, and then a tiny explosion, and Gregor goes, "Oh shit," and he looks down, and beneath him the floor has cracked, and this crack begins to spread across the street, and you see the buildings on either side of you shift ever so slightly, and you guys can give me dex saves as
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
So dexterous.
Yes, queen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh no, I actually have advantage on deck saves, so let's do that. Woo-doo. Yikes! And then
Wow.
I'm going to do fanatical focus.
Oh, is it too late to... Oh, no, wait, never mind. Yeah, I was going to say give you bardic inspiration, but...
Oh, I'm not raging. Never mind. I can't do that because I'm not raging. So yeah, I fail.
Oh damn. Okay. Right.
I assume I fail.
So Gregor himself manages to try and like throw himself out the way, and he gets to the edge, like the side of the street, but the building behind him like sinks slightly. But he gets out of the way as a huge hole appears in the floor, and a massive plume of what looks to be fumes kick up into the air. Unfortunately, Hex and Kazna don't have such a good time, and both of them.
I had a nat 20.
I'm looking. Oh no, that was your investigation. I saw the 8. From before. Okay, so yeah, so Hex just suddenly like the floor beneath you. Unfortunately, you're right on the crack, and you have that moment where you're caught like with a leg on either side as the floor splits, and you like try to shift your weight, and as you shift your weight to try and hop across, your foot is on something that just gives way, and you slip and roll down, like slide down into what looks to be a large tunnel just beneath the street. It's not too far down. You are going to take a little bit of damage just from the fall, but not a whole load. And that's 5 bludgeoning damage as you bounce down into what appears to be a carved stone tunnel. Not like a roughly hewn, like this is carved stone. It is not the best craftsmanship by far, but you come rolling to a stop. You are a good sort of maybe 30 feet down. The rest of you, I believe, was everyone else okay on their deck saves? Yeah, everyone else did okay. So everyone else will see that the street has caved in, and it caves in sort of quite far down, and the buildings on either side are now lurching inwards, almost to the point where they're touching across the street, but seem to have stopped. And as the dust clears, Hex, buddy, this is hilarious.
Oh, Lord.
This is the funniest thing. Can everyone who's topside make me a con save, please?
I fail, period, because I'm down there?
You have no...
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Gregor as well. I feel like... Gregor's good. Yeah. Damn, some solid cons, but yeah. You just hear from like amidst sort of like this strange purplish tinted fumes that are like kicking up into the street. You just hear from the bottom Gregor laughing his arse off.
Gavin
laughing his arse off. There's so many names now. It's just so difficult.
So slowly look between Payne and Gregor with sort of confused, like, eyebrow, like, raised, like, are you both hearing the laughter?
I don't think I've ever heard them laugh before. It's kind of creepy.
It's disturbing, is what it is.
Yeah, it's Hex laughing through Gavin, which is probably kind of disturbing.
Are you all right down there?
I'm fine.
What's so funny?
There's a sewer of something down here, but is it going the right direction?
It goes straight. It seems to go under the street. It seems to head straight in towards.
Like straight towards the tower.
Yeah.
Here we are trying to do all that stuff up there, and there's been this path the whole way. It's fun. Look, it's just the thing. It's right here. And we're up there, and we were wandering around, and you were flying, and it's a thing. It's right here. We should have gone this way the whole time. It's.
I don't know what we're going. All right. Well,
I've never hated it so much when someone's been happy before. What's happening to me?
I was gonna say something, but I'm glad I didn't. Oh. I, not knowing any better, am gonna go down into the tunnels, I guess, because he's just a laughing human, and humans are weird. Humans are really weird.
Humans are so weird.
Humans are
and so funny.
weird.
They're just entertaining. Like, they're just, you can't help but smile.
So I'm
You can't help but laugh. Actually, this is like, you don't get it. Like, I mean, God. That makes a point.
See? That's good.
This is great. There's a Cuddle! We should fuck!
Look, I'm just considering leaving. I'm just like, I could just go back and maybe reason with the brains and sort that out. Maybe just leave all of this. Because I mean, Zoon's dead, so they don't really have that over me anymore. I could just go get scabbed, go home, make a new home. I don't have to.
At this point, she's like one hand on the side of the wall, just like can't breathe from laughing. Like, yeah.
Hey, Josh, what's my breathing status? Am I breathing currently?
Yeah, you're breathing. You can just stop breathing if you want.
I don't have any reason to. Not reason that I know of at this moment. I will head down, I guess.
Kazna, this was a great decision. Like, as you come down, you're just like, yes. Gregor starts laughing. Gregor starts laughing without even coming down. He just laughs awkwardly, as if like, yeah.
That one guy that doesn't really understand the joke, but just wants to be involved.
Yeah.
That guy.
And as Gregor descends, he finally gets it. So you guys descend down into what appears to be something that you would recognize. In fact, this is interesting because I will explain it one way, and then I'll explain it a completely different way for Toolscore in a way that he'll understand. So to the drow, no, trust me when I say this. So for the drow, amongst the party and those who have lived in the Drow City, you come down and you see what is essentially an underground passageway network of. It's probably the way that the non-Drow were transported. So slaves, workforce, anyone who wasn't Drow would be transported down here so they weren't in the streets offending people with their sight. Toolscore, this is the underground network in Disneyland, so they can move around without exactly what this is. It's just like,
I forgot
there is.
you're a Disney
It
boy.
might as well have an anti-magic field, if you know what I mean, because it's just when no magic happens down here. It
Smells like dumpsters, you know.
It smells like dumpsters. Yeah, exactly. You guys come down into what is it's essentially well laid out. It's a subterranean network in a subterranean network because twice. Yeah, I heard you like tunnels, so we put tunnels in your tunnels. So yeah, you find that down here there's a lot of light, surprisingly, as there is these there are these tiny fluorescent things hanging from the ceiling that seem to be glowing. They glow like a vivid, like lime green, and they pulse slightly. And every now and again, as you sort of like begin to make your way through the tunnel, one of them will be startled by you and take flight and leave, as there are tiny glowing bats down here that light your path.
Party favors. Gavin
Because-
starts hitting them with his mace.
They kind
they're
of look a
hanging.
little bit like I do.
Pinatas.
Roll me to attack. Roll me to swing.
25.
It's
And a
17 at disadvantage because these are tiny little things and they move pretty fast, but 17 hits by a mile. And you knock one out, and it just is completely stunned, just laying in sort of the water.
You should try this. This is awesome. They do glitter. They poop. They poop when you hit them.
That's a real Laurel Annual. That's not even a character. That's just funny.
They poop glitter. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's party favors.
They're practically unicorns. They're practically
unicorns.
You so you're making your way down this amazing
This is
It was
the only time I've
amazing.
ever been happy as a party.
This is it, and it's because I drugged you. It's the only time you've ever been happy. I had to,
Like, a big part of me is like, I could just stop breathing, but then like I
Please
wouldn't
tell,
be having a
please
fun
tell me
time.
this is some drow celebration that Kazna knows of.
Drow Easter just happened, so you know.
Drow
You
Easter.
know, drow Easter, you hit the glowy bats. They're like peeps. They're drow peeps.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.